Hey, everybody, welcome back to HitPoint, a JRPG news show, an anime news show, a niche news show, a show where Baku and I play air guitar as we listen to our own intro, and I sing along to it as well, because that's just the way that I roll. Yeah, we'll be responding to questions and comments from Super Chats at the end of the show. We'll be previewing trailers and talking about rumors. We stream live every single Sunday at 7 p.m. Central, 8 p.m. Eastern Time, without exception, except for those times when we don't. Baku, how have you been, buddy?
Oh man, super tired, but class is over for the time being, and I've decided not to take summer courses because I'm going to die. So push it all back into the next semester. So we are good for now. Yes, I'm taking to have summer off. How are you doing, sir?
I am recovering. I'm recovering okay. So I've been kind of quiet the last week and a half, 2 weeks, because I've been sick on and off for the last couple of weeks with all kinds of, congestion and all kinds of coughing and wheezing and sounding like I'm on the steps of death's door,
Sheesh.
I haven't been feeling necessarily too bad, except for the very beginning. I had a bit of a sore throat, but it was just enough that I'm coughing too much to stream. My throat's hurting too much to stream. I sound weird, and I'm not going to stream. So I have just been doing not a whole heck of a lot, which bugs the crap out of me, because it makes me feel really pent up and I got a lot that I need to do, and it's so much. Anyway,
It be like that sometimes. I hear you.
It's wild. It's wild. I mean, now that you have a YouTube channel that you have also ignored for a long while, you also understand exactly the guilt and shame that comes from failing to produce content in a timely manner, right? You feel this weight on your shoulders, and it's just what am I doing? I need to put out a video.
I have more or less given up on releasing things, although I might take the summer to try to revive it. I just haven't had time to go through and see what lessons I've learned by releasing some videos, and then I'm like, okay, there's got to be a way to do this better, quicker, faster, and less energy spent. So once I figure that out, I might come back. We'll see. But what's your next move, man? What are you gonna give us? I mean, other than being here, I mean.
Okay, so I have already recorded a 1 hour long unboxing video and edited it down of all of the things that I've accumulated, all of my impulse purchases that I've saved up for 6 months. I have this it's uploaded and it's ready to go on YouTube. But the problem is, I just uploaded a 1 hour interview with Leona Renee,
right?
The localizer behind the early Trails games, some of the early Trails games. It was a phenomenal interview. People who watched it were so happy that they did, and I'm so happy with the feedback that I've gotten for it. But the thing is, it's an hour-long video, and present company excluded, some people in my subscriber list aren't really keen on watching videos that extend beyond 10 minutes or 20 minutes. And once you get past the over 1 hour mark and into the 2 hour mark, only the real ones stick around, and thank everybody for sticking around here for watching our show, which always goes on beyond 1 hour. But anyways, I've got to put out a banger here pretty soon, and I've got some pretty good ideas.
Okay,
but YouTube doesn't like it when you put out 2 videos that nobody watches. I've come to find that out. I need to kind of spread them out a little bit, and it's not like I'm not gonna do an unboxing video of things that people send to me. Whether that be fans or people corporations who make video games and stuff. That's really exciting to me, as to open up some pretty cool stuff. But I need to put something up between between the long hour-long interview and the long hour-long unboxing video, because I don't want YouTube to forget that I exist, or to like, relegate me to the annals of, like, oh, this guy only puts out, hour-long videos that nobody wants to watch. So I got to do something else. And I have an idea. I mean, besides, like experience points and first impressions videos and stuff like that. But I do have an idea.
Mm-hmm. The dreaded YouTube algorithm that no one understands.
I know.
And a lot of guru who claims to understand it. Anyhow,
I know.
Yeah.
I know. It's so much. It's weird having to contend with the algorithm. But anyways, I'm gonna put out something here pretty soon. I think I have a pretty cool idea for a way to celebrate 10 years on YouTube.
Yeah, that should be nice.
It's gonna be a series of videos. Yes, another new series. Please watch it when it comes out, because it's gonna. I think it'll be less than an hour each one. I'm sure of it, but please. Anyways.
Yeah. So I don't know if y'all in chat knows this, but Derek and I actually streams on Twitch. So what's new with you over there? Do we?
Oh my gosh.
Do
oh my
we?
gosh.
Do we? What,
I haven't streamed for a few weeks now.
Yikes.
I know. Okay, here's the other thing. I know it's a lot of like pre-news, just banter, but I have been meaning to stream more Trails of Cold Steel 3. I haven't, because I've been sick, and
yes,
I'm running behind, even more behind than I should be. And I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to take like a week off of work here pretty soon and just do nothing. I'm just going to spend an entire week playing Cold Steel 3 and then probably Cold Steel 4 if I have. I don't know. I'm just going to try and blitz through them as quick as possible.
Am I hearing a Cold Steel subathon? Is that what?
What is that? How did you get that from that? That is not what you heard. I swear to God.
That's how I twist all the news all the time. What do you mean? Like, it's act like you've never met me before.
It would be a lot of work. Gosh, maybe I could do that, but I wouldn't do it like all without sleeping. That would be a lot.
That would be insane, but the fans will love it.
Yeah.
Both to watch you play their favorite game, but also to watch you suffer while doing it.
Oh my God.
That Schadenfreude will kick in, like, the Schadenfreude.
Yeah.
I'm totally mispronouncing it, and people chat's like, it's pronounced this way. I'm from Germany.
I was gonna say
you
like
suck,
Schadenfreude, but whatever.
Yeah, it's okay.
Okay.
They know I cannot pronounce German to save my life.
I think that's almost enough of me whinging for now. So let's go ahead and start talking about some of the comments that we got last week.
Yes.
Hang on. Before I do that, though, Baku, what have you been streaming? I feel so bad. You asked me about what I was doing. What about you? What are you streaming?
I almost forgot about that. So I just finished an entire review of Xenoblade Chronicles Futures Connected, Xenoblade Chronicles 2, and Xenoblade Chronicles Torna.
Yeah.
So that's like 1.5 game each. That's like 3 games worth of like review. We watched like key cutscenes, and even then, each game's cutscenes added up. If I wanted to watch every single one of them, would be 14 hours or so per game. So that went on for about 2 weeks of just nothing but sitting down and just watching clips, which is crazy. I did not know that these clips take so much time.
You did not do the math.
No, I did not do the math at all. I was like, oh yeah, we'll be done in like 4 days,
Sure.
A day and a half per game, and then half a day for like one of the DLC add-on stuff.
Well, you gave people some time to play ahead, right?
Absolutely, yeah.
That's what you were. That was the aim. That's smart.
Yeah. It's all going according to Keikak.
All according to cornucopia. Yes.
Yes. But man, I am in love with the game all over again. Like we did like a kind of like an analysis of all the things coming together. Because for those who don't know, Xenoblade 1 like basically sells itself as a independent, like, you know, and just the independent game, right? And then Xenoblade 2 sell, or at least people were told that this is going to be a separate game until the very end, when they're like, just kidding, the two games actually related at the very end, at the very end.
Okay.
Yeah. And then Xeno 3, at least based on the trailer, because I haven't played the game. Okay, so not really a spoiler if you've seen the trailer.
What if I haven't seen the trailer?
Well, they
are you going to spoil me, Baku?
Yeah, I'm totally gonna spoil you. I don't feel
gosh.
bad. You're never gonna play Xeno anyways. But basically,
yeah, but other people probably are.
They've hinted that the two games connect, but they don't tell you how or why.
Okay.
They've just hinted. So I rushed back into play Xeno 1 because I wasn't gonna play Xenoblade 1. I was just play Xenoblade 2. I'm like, yeah, I got too many games. I'm not playing this. I don't care. And then 3 comes out. It's like, you know what you need to do? You need to play 1. And I was like, okay, you win. I'll play 1. But that was a couple months ago now. So now that I'm fully re-engaged and I've watched the scenes back to back between 2 and 1, I have these like new like revelation, if you will. You know, sometimes you read a book, you like read it again, and you discover something new.
Yeah,
it's like that, except the 2 books have basically condensed the watching time, and they're connected. So now I can really see how the 2 games play on each other in like thematically and everything. Right. So,
yeah.
But hey, if you guys want to hear more about it, what I think about Xenoblade, definitely come by to hang out over at twitch.tv/BoKURA JRPG. And if you want to see more of Derek playing Cold Steel, definitely head over to his channel as well.
Alrighty. Well, thank you so much. Thank you, Baku. Okay.
Let's get to it.
Getting into some of those comments from last week that we've got to talk about. This one comes from Aloha Gamester, who says, soon as I heard Derek's gym story at the beginning of the ep, I dropped everything and hit the gym for a quick workout and sauna session. Now I'm back, exhausted, and now I'm the newest member of the Soar AF Club. Yep, it's been like that. It do be that way. I was actually today was back in biceps day for me, and and I'm feeling like this can of soda is a little bit heavy right now, but it's getting better. It used to be that like, especially with cardio was my worst. I hated it. I still don't love it. Actually, I'm getting to the point where I kind of enjoy it now, and I can't believe it. It's weird.
It's gonna become an addiction.
No. It's tolerable at this point.
Runner high, man, is the thing.
But I will say that it's been interesting being able to actually go from like warming up and like just kind of like getting my blood flowing a little bit at the beginning, and I would do a little jog at like 4.5 miles an hour, and then it'd be like, all right, let's break it back down to like 3.5 walk. Now it's like, all right, when I get there, I'm like, all right, let's crank it up to like 8 miles an hour run. Let's go. And I'm just like busted out for a minute and then reel back in for a power walk at like 4 miles an hour. Like it's it's so dumb but it feels so good to be progressing. It's like an in IRL leveling up, I'm level 2 now or something. I don't know. But yeah, Soar AF Club, it's real and it exists, and you gain real EXPs this way. It's interesting.
Absolutely. I need to get back into exercise.
It's really grindy though, kind of a pain, not gonna lie.
No pain, no gain though, am I right?
Yep.
In my case, no gain, no loss, because I need to lose weight. No pain, no loss.
You don't have no. Okay, that's a huge misunderstanding. You don't have to work out to lose weight. In fact, any working out you do has nothing to do with weight loss. Like you can you can work out all for like 3 hours and maybe burn like a couple hundred calories, maybe, but like you could gain back 200 calories by eating a banana. Like it is not where you lose weight in this. You lose weight in the kitchen. Yeah, 100%.
That's fair. That's fair.
Yeah.
I just ate a plate of like cream based pasta. And I'm drinking a can of soda. Yeah, so much for that. I mean, granted, it's a small can of soda, but still. Anyways, yeah, I need to get back into it. All right. Next comment that we've got is from some random guy. That's his name. Okay.
Yeah.
I wasn't trying to diss him. As much as I understand the urge to want to catch up in time for Reverie's release, I'm still gonna be kind of sad if Derek decides not to stream the rest of Cold Steel 3 and 4. Not only because I know those games will get some genuinely awesome reactions out of him, but also because I myself was counting on those streams to act as a refresher on the story. Man, you've got a fan right here waiting for you to play these games, sir. Please.
I need to get back to it. So here's what I'm currently thinking. Tentatively speaking, I'm thinking I'm going to start streaming them, but I'm going to be playing in between streams. So I'll be making a lot more progress than I would otherwise. And I'm probably going to have to drop the voice acting bit and just, at least for the non-storyline events. I think that's my current plan, is to play off stream, play during stream, limit, streamline the whole playthrough during the streams, and I think I'll get there. But it's the deadline is fast approaching, and that being out for a week did not help.
Man.
Yeah.
Well, you'll come back. I people are waiting for you, and if you want to shame Derek, shame him on Twitter.
Oh, thank you.
I don't care that you're sick. You gotta play your stream. Yeah, please don't be mean. But do shame him. Just shame him nicely, politely shame him.
All right, and then
if that's the thing.
And then we got a few comments from people who were like who were saying, "Hey, Link's Awakening is not a sequel to Link to the Past because Link to the Past sequel is Link Between Worlds." Incorrect, actually. I think Link Between Worlds takes place several hundred years or maybe 1,000 years afterwards or something, maybe. But according to Hyrule Historia, Link's Awakening takes place. It follows the same character Link from the Link to the Past games. After he's done saving Hyrule and Link to the Past, he goes out on a ship and does some cool stuff, and that's when the events of Link's Awakening takes place, which is pretty interesting. Now, as to whether or not that's according to Hyrule Historia. Now, as to whether or not that's still a valid and reliable source, I mean, it's kind of the only one that I know of that's like official. So I'm gonna say it's at least reasonable to deduce that is part of that timeline and follows the same character according to Nintendo, at least back then. If things have changed since then then I guess it just means that it's all made up and doesn't really matter in the end, huh?
Yeah. Well, death of the author thing too,
Oh yeah, sure.
Yeah. So Link's okay, so let me just sorry, let me clarify. No author actually died involved.
Sure. Yeah, the phrase implies
death, yes.
Yeah, there's a phrase called the death of the author that implies that basically once a book leaves the author's pen, they are no longer relevant to the interpretation of the story. It is up to the readers at that point to understand the story. The author dies in that sense.
Now, I don't read a lot, but as y'all know, JRPGs are pretty much like a novel on its own every time. So, like, I do think about stuff like that with respect to games and how the people, the fans interpret the stories and etc. Right? But Link's Awakening, that's the one where like it takes place in an island and whatnot.
That's right.
In Game Boy. Okay, now I know. Now I know which one it is. I remember that one. Okay. All right. Okay, so some things about Super Chat, yada yada, voicemail.
Yeah, no voicemail today, unfortunately. Sadly. We did not get any voicemails to the phone number, which you could leave one at if you wanted to. It's 785-337-3805. That is a number you could leave a voicemail at if you lived in the United States, or otherwise, if you feel like just emailing us a voicemail, you can do so at hitpoint@superdarkrpgs.com. But unfortunately, no voicemails today for us to respond to. So that's okay, though, because we've got so much to talk about, and we've already killed 20 minutes.
Oh, my God.
I know. Okay.
Yikes.
It is time for us to talk about, well, some sad stuff.
Okay.
All right. So starting with this announcement here from Core Cell Technology, who have announced that their upcoming title, Quantamancy, the Purgatory, a holy punk action RPG, is canceled.
Yikes.
Yeah. Core Cell stated that the reason for the cancellation is due to creative differences between the executive director and the director. It was also stated that the director will retain all rights and continue to work on the title, so we might hear the title pop up sometime in the future. But for the time being, all plans for it have been ceased, to be for the time being.
Yes.
So,
yes.
That's got to be a bummer, man.
Yeah, the game actually looked pretty good. I mean, they never released anything other than like concept art, but the concept art already looked really good. So, it looked like it was gonna be the whole holy punk thing, like that theme. I didn't even first of all, I didn't even know that's a thing. But
I didn't know that's a thing either.
Apparently, it's kind of like steampunk, but like church.
Yeah,
with like they call it holy punk. Apparently, I again never knew that was the thing, but it looked really interesting. Yeah, holy punk. Their words, by the way.
Yeah, that's pretty weird. Yeah, but I dig it. That is some really nice artwork so far.
Right.
Is that like a PlayStation era style? No, I don't know.
PS2 maybe PS2 style
era.
Yeah.
Oh man,
it kind of the art reminds me a little bit of Art Tonelico.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
I can kind of see that.
Yeah, that sort of character design. It's unfortunate, and unfortunately, I have yet more unfortunate news for you all because this is the cancellation and delay section.
Yeah, I know.
So prepare to be bumped out. Hollow Knight Silksong, which is the follow-up to the original Hollow Knight, starring the character Hornet, will be delayed. According to Team Cherry's Matthew Griffin, who handles their PR and marketing. And of course, we're going to link to the, the tweet. If you want to read it down in the description below, all the primary sources there. But we do have like a trailer of a Hollow Knight Silksong. So just so y'all can see what that's about.
Yeah, just a little, a delay trailer.
A delayed trailer.
That's kind of funny that's almost a thing. All right.
It looks really good, and of course we've got a lot of Hollow Knight fans. It's a really good game, even though it's not my thing. I really love the art. I like watching people play the game. That's Hornet with the needle.
Oh, okay.
So it's in a completely original game. It's not like a DLC, from my understanding. And the character will use like different skill compared to the original Hollow Knight.
Yeah.
New enemies, new bosses, new game, period. Looks really good. My goodness, that art looks amazing.
It really does. Kind of crazy.
Well deserved as to like why people love this game so much. And it's freaking hard. That's cute. This art style, man.
I need to play games like this at some point.
What,
I guess so. I've never played Shovel Knight, Hollow Knight.
Oh, yeah.
None of the above.
Man, sometimes it'll do you some good to play a game of like just to get away from the monotony of JRPGs, I guess.
I don't know if I'd call it monotony. But I get what you're saying. Just a change of pace.
Yeah. That's why I have decided that like between every long section of JRPGs that I stream, I'm going to at least play like a small indie, like a day or two, just to like cleanse the palate and move on to something different.
It's smart.
It's doing my sanity a lot of good, I tell you that.
Yeah. Kind of like how my my personal philosophy of not marathoning a certain series has worked really well for me.
Yeah, absolutely.
So anyways, back to how I'm going to be playing through the Trails games.
I mean, you got people waiting on you, man.
It's true.
Got a lot of weight on your shoulders. All right.
So next up, we got another little update here from developer Mega Cat Studios, who announced their upcoming wrestler-themed RPG, WrestleQuest, will be delayed from this month to sometime in summer of 2023, which honestly isn't too far away. So
2-3 months.
Yeah, no specific reasons have really been provided for the delay at this point. Mega Cat Studios have stated that the delay is a result of certain issues outside of their control.
Yeah.
So isn't that how it happens?
It's always how it happens. It's either COVID or things outside of their control.
Which is kind of a
other.
subset of things outside of their control.
Yeah, absolutely. So,
yeah,
that's unfortunate. But, I was really looking forward to WrestleQuest because I tried it at MagFest. I actually spoke to the developers, and, it's very interesting game that basically plays on wrestlers, but specifically like these action toys that and they all want to be a wrestler for whatever reason. I'm sure the story will explain it, but it's really cool. It's a really neat concept. I can't wait to see them come out whenever that happens.
I do have some good news though.
Yeah.
And that is finally the end of our list of delays and updates. And we're gonna talk about some updates to previous games now.
Yes, but before that, I did see a couple of super chat flyby. I just want to remind you all that we'll be reading the super chat at the end of the episode, so don't think that we're ignoring it.
For sure.
Yeah, we'll get to it later. But if you guys want to ask us questions, you definitely want some answers from us, definitely leave us that super chat. Or, leave a comment later, and we may have you featured in the beginning of next Hit Point. So definitely keep leaving us those insightful comments.
That's
right. Really appreciate it. We love reading those. All right, now moving on to updates to past releases. There's only one. So, perhaps the most successful of all unofficial Hololive fan games, HoloCure, a Vampire Survivor style game that features the agency's talents as playable characters, will be moving away from their in-game launcher and onto Steam with the upcoming version 0.6, which is a piece of news that I think a lot of people are really going to appreciate, because it just we have a lot of our games in Steam, and this being a fan game, for one reason or another, they couldn't put it on Steam. That was their stated reason. But they worked it out with Hololive. They're officially allowing them to put it on Steam as a fan game. So I think that's pretty cool. Actually, there was another fan game that we talked about called Idol Showdown that's also on Steam. Yeah. So I was wondering, well, this game is on Steam. Why couldn't you be on Steam? And wouldn't you know it, about like a week or two later, they're like, hey, by the way, we worked out something with Hololive, and now we can put this on Steam. So I think maybe Hololive changed their policy, and they just like working through it. So it's pretty cool. I think these fan games, and they're all free, by the way. I mean, they're doing nothing but it's just like great, PR for the company. So I don't see why they wouldn't do it. Maybe just review the game before you let them go live. But other than that, it's like free, it's free publicity, and it's a really good game. I know I said free and fan game, but even if you know nothing about Hololive, you don't care, you never want to watch these people, it's fine. It's like a fun game regardless. Yeah. Now, with the version 0.6, we will see 9 additional playable characters from Generation 1 through 3 of Hololive Indonesia, making the total playable characters up to 33. That's a lot of playable characters for a game that's completely free. No release date for version 0.6 or when the game will move to Steam, but HoloCure is immediately available on itch.io. I'll link probably the site in the description below later on.
Okay.
That's all we've got for updates and past releases. Let's move on to the exciting stuff. Upcoming releases in the next week.
That's right. That's right there, Baku. So we're going to start with this this 2D horror puzzle adventure game that Baku made me talk about, called
Derek loves horror games. What are you talking about?
Pocket Mirror GoldeneTraum, something like that.
I have no idea how to pronounce it.
I think that's also the other reason you made me talk about it. So it's coming from developer Vigistella, And Astral Shift Pro is now
Mhm.
available on PC via Steam. So we have a
Yay.
trailer for it as well that we can check out. So let's do that.
Yeah, this game came out while we were on break on the 19th. So it literally just came out like 3 days ago.
Oh, I think we've seen this trailer. Maybe not this trailer, but we've seen a trailer for this game before. I know it. Yeah.
If
I
you want
remember.
to turn it down just a little bit too, because there might be some singing later on.
Oh, sure.
Yeah.
I'll do that.
Yeah, just give me a heads up.
Yeah, we've
vaguely
definitely talked about
remember.
it before.
Yeah,
The art style is
kind of Alice in Wonderland-esque
Yeah.
kinda style.
and it also reminds me a little bit of like the horror or the haunted mansion of Breath of Fire 3.
Oh, okay.
Breath of Fire 3 has, it's got a haunted mansion. It just has burrowed itself into my heart and mind. And then of course it's got this very pretty artwork on it.
Yeah. This game reminds me of Witch's House, which is like another one of these like 2D puzzle horror adventure game. But yeah, I think if anyone likes like Witch's House or things like, I don't know, Corpse Party, Mad Father, like you're going to like this kind of game. And in fact, later on there's another announcement for another game that's very similar to this. So if you're a fan of these like what is it like, I don't want to say kind of RPG Maker kind of game. That's like horror. Yeah. So this game was originally on RPG Maker. I don't know if this current rendition is an RPG Maker because this is like a remastered version of the game. So
yeah, I think I remember that the last time we talked about it was in the context of it being changed from an RPG Maker game to another platform.
Yeah,
I vaguely remember it. It's been over a year, I think, since we talked about it.
It's been a while since they announced like initial announcement. Yeah. All right.
Yeah. So yeah, if the game looks interesting to you, you can get the game right now for 25% off and a free soundtrack from now until May 26th of this year. So check it out.
Got a couple of days. All right, next up, we've got a story expansion DLC to the turn-based RPG One Piece Odyssey. And it's called Reunion of Memories. And that's coming on a couple of days on May 25th for all supported platforms. We do have a quick trailer just so we can refresh ourselves on what this is about.
All right. Yeah, let's pull that up here.
Yeah. I'm just so happy that this game didn't bomb. Like, I want to see more, different anime works.
I was gonna say,
get their RPG.
I want this to inspire more people to make more betterer anime RPGs.
Bandai Namco, come on, answer our call. I think Bandai Namco also makes like the Soul Arts like game. Soul Arts Online games, and I don't have numbers in front of me, but if they're able to release like 4 or 5 games based on that series, I'm going to say the game actually sells. And the game can't just sell.
I have to also mention that every time that we mention the SAO games, there's always people in the chat who are like, yeah, those games are actually really good and you should play them.
Yeah. So I guess the next time someone asks like, are there good tied-in RPGs, we can point to like maybe 2 of them, because I've heard people really like One Piece Odyssey too. So hopefully y'all excited about this Reunion Memories thing, because I'm excited. I was waiting for this to come out so that I can actually start One Piece Odyssey. I haven't played it yet. I have the game, but I will now that the DLC is out. So yeah, this is a story expansion DLC, and again, it's coming out on the 25th. So get to it. It's in like 4 days.
All right, and here's another one that Baku and I have talked about a few times over the course of HitPoint, and that's Monster Menu, the Scavenger's Cookbook, the latest strategy RPG from from Nippon Ichi. Monster Menu. Scavenger's Cookbook will be released on May 23rd, just a couple days from now in North America, and then on the 26th for the European Union, and on the 2nd of June for Australia, New Zealand. And it's coming out on PS4, PS5, and the Nintendo Switch. So if you're on the fence, you can also just go try out the demo right now. But we also have a trailer for a refresher for anybody who's curious about what this game is all about, because it's kind of its own thing, right? Like,
I kind of feel like this game might be a sleeper hit because, like, sometimes Nisa will release a game and it's kind of like a low budget something or another. This one actually looks pretty polished. I'm not gonna lie. Like,
yeah.
But yeah, this is the demo trailer, so what you can expect to see in the demo, more or less.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So anybody who might not have seen some of the earlier trailers, a lot of this game is kind of about like fighting monsters and then making food out of them. Which is weird, and then absorbing some of their power, I guess.
Yeah.
Right?
Well,
Like,
I mean, there has been a couple light novels turned into anime that has some kind of monster eating and gaining skills as part of things. So I feel like this is just natural evolution of actually making a game based on that premise. There are a couple, yeah.
There's always been that meme of like, aha, what should I do? Consume them and absorb their power.
Yes.
It's like, well,
yes.
That meme has been made manifest into this NIS title. And NIS is kind of one of those goofy game companies that just kind of does weird stuff for offbeat stuff, and kind of love it for that.
Yeah, when they're not publishing Falcon games, they do develop their own like fun games in house. Disgaea being, of course, chief among those. Some experimental stuff too. So I respect their spirit of innovation for some of these games. So yeah.
How long is this
a lot
trailer?
of people complain about it too, right? 2 minutes. It's about done.
Oh, okay.
A lot of people complain about about like Square Enix. It's like, oh, they're just not trying. They're doing the same old. It's very safe. I feel like that's just Square Enix. Like they're gonna give you like a solid game, but don't expect anything like too like world
avant-garde.
Yeah. But Monster Menu, I think that could be a sleeper hit. I have a feeling that this game is gonna do better than what people may initially expect just by watching the demo. So we'll see, though. I mean, I haven't played a game. I want to. I haven't had time, but yeah, it looks pretty good.
All right. Well, check it out. You could play the demo. We'll have a link to it somewhere in the description below.
Sounds good, sir. All right. We have another horror game coming out that I will not make Derek read through, and it's called Labyrinth Lucidity Lost. That's
alliteration.
Yeah, alliterations, which is the non-VR version of the game Last Labyrinth, not Lost, Last Labyrinth. Oh, God, it's a mouthful. Developer Amata KK announced that this version of the game is available now as of the show on Xbox Series and Xbox One, and will be available on May 24th on the Switch. So we do have a trailer, so we can take a quick look at it. Derek, try not to be too scared. I assure you it's not that bad.
I don't know, man. I'm feeling a little jumpy already. I'm very scared now. Okay, so this was VR once upon a time, but this is the non-VR version, you said?
This is the non-VR version, yes. So before it was like a VR exclusive. Now it is a non-VR game.
Okay, so the trailer still does a lot of first-person VR looking stuff. Is this trailer still...
I feel like this is specifically for Lucidity Lost. So I think it's still going to be first person. I think it's just more about like the control scheme, perhaps.
Okay. Yeah.
So basically, in this game, you are like, you wake up and you're bound to a chair, and you can't move very well. But and there's a little girl there who's able to like complete these tasks for you to get you guys out. It's a kind of an escape room kind of game. the catch is you cannot understand a word she's saying to you. So there's some communication issues in the game, and also you cannot move directly. You have to rely on her to do stuff for you.
Interesting.
Yes, so it's pretty interesting, I think. It's definitely not probably scary in VR. But it's not your usual fare. So I think it's definitely worth looking at. I'm pretty excited about this, actually. I want to see what this game is about.
Oh.
You know, also like prevent her from dying would be important.
Uh-huh.
But you can't physically go in to save her. You know, you have to. Yeah. Yeah.
That seems like that would be really stressful.
It's stressful, all right.
Because it's like, here's this adorable little girl. Don't let her die. You know, by the way, we're going to try to kill her. It's like, oh, that just sounds like a lot. That's too much responsibility.
Oh, Japan, what are we gonna do with you?
I know.
Yeah, this game kind of reminds me a little bit of I don't know, what is it? Dang it! What I had it in my mind and I completely forgot about it now. 999, Zero Escape, that sort of thing, where you're captured and then you're trying to get out. But there's that kind of theme going on, and you have no idea what's going on. Like you just know you have to get out of there because it's dangerous.
Yeah.
Yeah. So for people who like 999, maybe this could be a different kind of of the same thing, right?
Yeah, could be.
Yeah. Okay.
Well,
so if you want to play this game in VR, though, the game is immediately available on PS4, PS5, PC via Steam, and of course the aforementioned Xbox. You can play them on VR, but the non-VR version, at least for the Switch, is coming on the 24th. So
wait, does Xbox do VR stuff?
I don't know, but the game is definitely available on Xbox already. So maybe not. I'm not an Xbox owner. Don't at me.
Okay.
I just know that this version of the game is available on Xbox One.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
I got what you're saying. Cool. That makes sense.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay.
Well, we also have some new games that were announced.
Some.
Okay. we got several. How many we got here? Let's see.
Well, while you count, so we canceled our show last week because there was like nothing to talk about because there were maybe like 3 games that are that's been announced. So I'm just like, yeah, there's really nothing to talk about. And then this past week, just like 10 games got announced. I'm like, okay, well, now we have to stack everything together in a single show. So this is going to be action packed.
Yeah. Well, let's go ahead and start right away with this one called Decarnation. Publisher Shiro Unlimited announced that the new 2D psychological horror game Decarnation is coming on the 31st of May for the Nintendo Switch and PC via Steam. The game will feature music by Akira Yamaoka of Silent Hill series fame. And
yes,
we've got a trailer for it, so we can see exactly how much I love this game.
You love horror games.
Well, the pixel art's good.
I mean, it's basically exactly what you said last time too. So you're very consistent with what you're liking.
I do like the pixel art. Yeah, I am nothing if not a broken record. Yeah, it looks pretty trippy too.
It's I think it's supposed to be trippy. I think it's just like this opera singer who's like not really making it in town, and kind of like her inner state and all this. Yeah, that's why I think that's why this is a psychological horror as opposed to like actual like life horror. I don't know. We don't know what the game actually entails. Yeah. But I think her like lack of success in the city is kind of like doing things to her. But the art
can identify
looks
with
amazing. Well, you know, this mess right here just reminds me of this other thing called Cyanota. I don't know if anyone knows what Cyanota is, but that mess of flesh just reminds me of that. But if you don't know Nayuta, that massive flesh also reminds me of a old school Final Fantasy boss.
Oh
Do
yeah.
you remember those?
Yeah.
It's just like 10 monster merged into this like grotesque thing, and you just
Uh-huh.
fight a blob.
Kind of
Yeah.
reminds me of the end of Akira, the movie.
Oh yeah, that.
I mean, I feel like that's kind of like inspired a whole lot of those kinds of weird creep show monsters afterwards.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. All that. Man. Okay. Next up, we've got a game that I've actually recently played. Speaking of playing games that are non-JRPG as like a palate cleanser. And this game is called BOKURA. A publisher, Kodansha, announced that the 2D co-op platform puzzle game BOKURA will be leaving early access on Steam and launch for the Switch, iOS, and Android on August 10th of this year. We've got a quick trailer, so we can take a look at that and we can talk a little bit about what this game's about.
Yeah. It's wild because I feel like once upon a time, and it wasn't all that long ago,
Mm-hmm.
early access on Steam was where games went to never come out.
Yeah.
But the longer HitPoint goes on, it's like the more games I hear about of games coming out of early access, and it just does not compute.
Man, well, I mean, this one is backed by Kodansha, so at least there's that. They have a huge company backing them. Yes, this one.
Yeah.
I recently played it with one of my friend who's also a streamer, and I played one side and she plays the other. There's like the animal looking side and then like the mechanical kind of robot looking side, and she played the animal side, and this time she played a robot side. And I played the animal side, and there are these. The story cuts really deep. It cuts really close. It talks about like regrets of growing up and losing friends, and it's a whole bunch of things. And there's some some kind of supernatural elements that they never fully explain, which I wish they did.
Yeah.
But yeah, the game is pretty interesting in its execution. You cannot play this game alone because you do require the other person who sees a completely different perspective from their screen to tell you what to do, how to help them move forward, and you in turn have to tell them how they can help you move forward in the game so that you can both progress to the next stage. So it is super interesting. There are sections where basically they can't see anything. They can't see their body. You have to tell them how to move and move with them. And some other times they have to describe to me shapes and buttons that I have to press in order for them to continue their journey to unlock something for me. So it's a pretty interesting game. I can't recommend this enough if you're into these kind of experimental play. And
I gotta say that like indie RPGs and indie games and stuff that I sometimes I've ventured out. Most recently with God, what was it called? A Space for the Unbound, and found that like, man, some of those stories, they're not RPGs, but man, some of them still just hit in a little bit of a different way, and they get a little more personal than you tend to expect, and and it hits different.
That's a lot of heart that went into it. It's a very personal story. And, like, here's the thing. Like, large teams make very, polished games, and they all have their specialties. But I feel like when you have, like, a small indie developer, because it doesn't, pass through a lot of hands, the story gets very personal and very, like, undiluted. And they're not afraid to, like, go there, if that makes sense, and tell a personal story. They don't have to answer to like stakeholders, like, oh, your game is too risky, or like, oh, that's
that might make somebody feel uncomfortable.
It's a very personal story. We will go there, and we'll tell it the way that we want to tell it. That's why I respect indie developers. So we're going to talk about a lot of indies as well as, of course, established games. So these are all interesting games. So hopefully you guys are, interested in these. And let us know if there are other indie games that you guys want us to take a look at. Because, boy, there are a lot of indie games, and I can't catch every one of them. So,
I know. It's like trying to catch every drop of rain.
I actually recently asked one indie developer friend, shout out to Ty, who's working on My Familiar and Quartet. I asked him like, hey, you know a lot of indie developers, like send me a list so I can like check it out and keep it on radar. I haven't done so yet, but he's given me like a good list, and I'm like, okay, I'm gonna take some time. I'm gonna go through it and see like who we can talk about and whatnot. So coming up soon.
That'd be good to have just like
Yeah.
a list of. Yeah. Okay. We'll check that out.
Yes.
Moving along, we've got another game here from China-based studio. Ace Entertainment announced they're currently developing a new fantasy farming sim called Tales of Seikyu for PC, and they have plans to release it on consoles in the future. So
Yes.
you play as an outsider who has been entrusted with an old inn by God Inari in the land of Seikyu. So do you want to take a look at this trailer?
Heck yeah, let's do it.
Okay.
This one actually looks pretty good. For people who likes farming sims, and I know some people like farming sims. It's actually a pretty looking farming sim.
Yeah, they are an interesting genre that kind of like intertwines every now and then with Japanese style RPGs. And I love it when they do.
Yeah, so it looks like you can like transform into like animals and monsters that helps yourself farm, perhaps. Yeah, I couldn't get a whole lot of information other than what is being shown right now. I think it's still a little too early too.
It does look early, and it does look unoptimized. Initial impressions are like I can see frame drops, and if I can see frame drops, then I know other people can.
Yeah,
because I'm not particularly.
I'm pretty sure there's some RPG element because you're all geared up and you're like fighting things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
It looks like
and that's the aspect that like I will. Yeah. Okay. I'll probably want to play that at some point. At least a little bit, I think. Like if there is a strong emphasis on like the action RPG or the RPG side of things, then I can make my way through the farming sim stuff. But like.
I mean, you say you play farming sims, but
yeah, that's a huge time sink in it.
I'm like, what?
Okay,
somehow I don't believe you.
Okay, so anyways, there's currently no release date at the moment. I've played Rune Factory Frontier and I enjoyed it. Okay.
Oh, really?
I'll have you know, it's been a long time, but I did. It was good.
Yeah, but
anyways.
Were you catching up on Cold Steel at that time?
No. Checkmate.
But hey, if you guys want to watch Derek play a farming sim for a change,
they don't
change of place. Yeah, definitely shame him on Twitter.
All right.
Next game. So we just talked about a China-based studio. This time is an Argentina-based developer.
Hey.
Pizia Studios has announced Hayaku and the Island of Darkness, a retro-style Metroidvania game coming to PC via Steam. The player will play as Hayaku, a soldier who has been tasked by his organization, Daikon, to explore and investigate a mysterious island filled with dangerous creatures. Ooh. Also, I totally spelled task incorrectly. Thankfully, I was reading this. It would have made no sense if you read it.
Yeah, absolutely. But that's all right. So it's Hayaku. Oh, look at that. And they even have
is that not like Mega Man? Like, this is so
totally
Mega Man. Like, the look and the sound.
Yeah.
I really like it.
I dig it. I dig it quite a bit.
Yeah.
It even looks like it has built-in fake limitations for like NES like sprite counts and stuff. So like you see like some sprite flicker and stuff. Very, very accurate. Looks I dig it.
It looks really good. It sounds really good. I like that retro like chiptune going on.
Here, I'll turn that up a little. That sounds kind of authentic too. I think that they were doing some authenticity for this one.
Yeah, there you go. From Argentinian studio, Pizia. I'm pretty sure I'm mispronouncing it but anyways, Pizia Studios.
Yeah.
No release date at the moment, unfortunately, but as soon as they announce anything, we'll be sure to let you all know.
All right. So this one actually comes from publisher Annulus and developer BOKURA. They've announced Chloe's Requiem Encore, a revamped version of the 2013 2D horror adventure game. Gosh dang it, Marco! This version of the game will include a side story called Con Amore, which can be played after the main game is done. It is interesting to note that the creator was a teenager when they released this 10 years ago.
Yeah.
So I guess that makes them a 20-something if my math checks out.
Yeah, I would say so. Yeah.
All right, let's check out
But
this
I
trailer.
think that's pretty cool. What was I doing when I was a teen? Not releasing games.
Clearly not.
Yeah. The art's actually pretty nice. Well, this is a revamped version, by the way. So
Yeah.
newly drawn art. It's another one of those kind of RPG Maker game that started out as RPG Maker and now they're doing like a remastered version kind of deal. Yeah, it's one of those again.
Cool.
I think this is a story between a violinist. What is it? Violinist? Violinist?
Yeah.
Violinist. Named Michael, and his interaction with the pianist who you've seen named Chloe in this like haunted house of sort. Definitely another one of those games where if you like stuff like what is it called, Witch's
Corpse
House
Party.
and whatnot, Corpse Party, that
Yeah.
sort, you will probably enjoy something like this. This is just a different story, different art style,
Just
similar
kind of
gameplay.
bit more of a music theme to it, though. I take it.
Absolutely, yeah. I'm a big fan of these kind of like puzzle horror games. Like sometimes they can be like really creepy and spooky, even though they're just like 2D sprites.
Yeah.
So yeah, they don't even do like this like atmospheric like 3D thing that really gets to your peripheral, right? But man, like it gets pretty good sometimes.
I mean, even just visual novels can be creepy in and of themselves, right?
And
And
just the writing, right?
and this is just a way for them to, like, you can tell there's visual novel aspects to this. You can kind of already see that a little bit here, kind of like Corpse Party did. But it's and I think that it's those aspects of the game that do a lot of heavy lifting to increase the creepiness factor. Not that I care about that kind of thing anyway. Baku, why are you having me talk about these creepy games? If you're into these kinds of creepy games, well, you can look forward to playing it on the 20th of June here for PC via Steam. It will be available in English, Japanese, Korean, and Chinese at launch.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, not too bad.
Not too shabby. All right. Here's another game from Buriki Clock. This time it is co-developed by them and WSS Playground, and the game is called Boyhood's End. It is a new sci-fi puzzle adventure game, so not horror this time, but maybe a different kind of horror. It features a world where humanity is ruled by an AI overlord called R. Carolyn? And every aspect of human lives are rated with a human score. Let's take a look at that really quick.
Right.
I think this one you will actually be a little bit more interested on.
All right.
So I feel like you made like some sci-fi stuff.
I already really appreciate the large animations going on here. That is some polish for a pixel art game. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, this one doing some interesting things here for sure. A lot of pixel art today, but
Yeah.
I dig it.
No ghost horror this time, but I think it's kind of like a sci-fi horror, right? Because now it's like these AIs and robots, and they're equally scary. And
I
just,
think
like,
you could
kinda-
probably easily remove the whole sci-fi moment here. It's just a regular old horror here pretty soon with AI, right?
Dang, I was trying to hide that it wasn't a horror game. Didn't work out.
Well, you said sci-fi horror, but you know, whatever.
No, but they haven't actually used the word horror. I just think that
Oh,
it's kind of
okay.
scary. That
Just kind of has some of
it's a
that,
different kind of scary.
like a
Yeah.
suspense kind of, yeah, like a
Yeah.
suspense thriller as opposed to necessarily a chiller horror, right?
Yeah, spooky, no jump scares, hopefully. Yeah, but the idea that we would be, ruled by this AI and be giving like human scores, that's scary stuff. And scarier still that we're working on these AI technology, we don't really know where it's going.
Oh, come on. You know that if
Mm.
they gave you a gamer score, a life score, you'd be like aiming to like increase that score just to
Okay,
gamify life.
you know what? That's fair, but
You're like, all
also
right, I'm going to be a better person, not for me or for anybody that I know, but just to get the number, just so the number goes up.
I need to platinum my life. Okay, it's
Yeah.
important to me.
Platinum, don't speed run.
Oh my! Yeah, please don't speed run. No, trying to get to New Game Plus, man.
Yeah, let's go.
Anyways, the initial release will be sometime in August of this year for PC via Steam. I say initial release because this game will continue to be released at episodic form and be updated with a new chapter every 2 months or so. Now, it's not immediately clear to me if they're going to charge like a small fee for every chapter, because there's this game that I played in the past where they'll charge like $2.99 a chapter, and it's not bad. It's like $2-3 for a chapter, and that's how they continue to release it. I don't know if they mean like here is the main game you pay in full, and then we'll just release a new chapter every 2 months. We'll see, but it's gonna be episodic, which isn't bad. You can always wait until the game is completely done to get it. So if that's something that's interesting to you, you can definitely wishlist it over in Steam right now.
Alrighty. So Playism have announced that they will be releasing a new deck building game called Phantom Rose 2 Sapphire, the sequel to the 2019 game Phantom Rose. Phantom Rose 2 comes with 2 playable classes, the Blade class and the Mage class. Each class has their own unique cards and mechanics, allowing you to experience the game in more ways than one. So do you want to take a look at this? Yes, more than one.
2 ways.
Two.
More than one. 2.
2 is more than 1.
Unless
Math
it's a
checks
secret
out.
class, after you finish the game. I would never doubt it.
Yeah.
Interesting art style too. I'm not sure what this reminds me of, but actually there's a game that I played recently with similar art style, I think. It's that one game where you basically get kidnapped by animal people and they harvest human for food and energy, and then you basically have to find your way out. It's another horror game.
Oh yeah.
Another horror game. This one is
talked
not.
about it.
Yeah, we did. Yeah, this one is not a horror game. This
Yeah.
one's a deck building game. It looks really interesting.
Yeah, and it's planned to release sometime this year for PC via Steam, so keep your eyes out for that if that looked interesting to you.
Heck yeah. All right, here's another one from the creators of Azure Striker Gunvolt. Indie Creates announced a new side-scrolling action game called Umbraclaw. The game will feature Blaster Master Zero's director Satoru Nishizawa. Yeah, let's take a quick look at that trailer. Not a whole lot of information from this game because it's really fresh. It's a really fresh announcement. I'm sure we'll get more news of this later on.
Trapped in the afterlife.
Still under development. The color, you know what? It I don't know why it has this like feeling of
2D Oninaki? Or no.
Okami.
Okami, yes.
Yeah. It's
2D
like a
Okami.
Yeah, that's what it looks like. And Indie Creates makes some great side-scroller game. Recently, they released Grim Guardian, and then prior to that, of course, the long-running series of Azure Striker Gunvolt, fast-paced, kind of Mega Man-esque, side-scrolling action game. So I'm expecting something similar. to that. But they're just really well known for making these kind of games. So definitely something to look forward to if you're into like Mega Man sort of games.
Yeah. And we have another game here to talk about.
Another one.
we got a bunch. We got
a bunch.
We're getting closer to the end of the long list of games. we weren't joking.
We weren't kidding about having a lot of games.
So developer Pocket Pair have just announced their newest side-scrolling action roguelite Metroidvania style game called Nevergrave: The Witch and the Curse.
That is a mouthful.
Isn't it? Using a cursed hat, you can possess enemies and use their unique abilities to battle and advance the story. So it's kind of like a Kirby kind of deal, I guess, huh?
Kirby or the Mario game. What is that called? The one where he throws his hat at enemies.
Oh, yeah. Odyssey.
Yeah. Yes, there you go, Odyssey.
Yeah. With the hat, the controls.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I could kind of see that.
This is really pretty too.
So let's see, how does this work? That is really pretty, yeah.
Oh, just died twice in a row.
Well, okay, so I think they're showing you don't do that.
Yeah, maybe don't do that. Death is only the beginning.
Yep.
Oh, that's how you control it. Oh, and there's multiplayer.
Okay.
And there's multiplayer.
Yeah.
And there's multiplayer. Up to 4 characters. So you down them, and then... Oh, look at that.
Okay.
That is cool. That is... Imagine playing all your friends, like local multiplayer. Oh, that looks fun.
I feel like all of my friends would probably really suck at this game, and I would want online co-op. If that's an option.
I actually don't know if online co-op is an option.
Oh,
yeah, I don't know. It could be.
We don't
it
know.
Could be.
Yeah.
I just don't know.
it would be nice.
It would be nice. They just said multiplayer. There's Oh, Jesus, it's one of
Oh,
those.
so it's one of those Super Meat Boy grinders right there. I see.
I'm so bad at those. Imagine playing through 4 people. You have to wait the 3 people to get through. That looks really good.
Yeah,
That
I like
looks
the art.
Really, really good. Oh my god.
It's a very pretty looking game. So it's got a planned release for winter of this year on consoles and PC via Steam.
Yes. Yeah. I don't think they specify which console, but they have plans for consoles.
Yeah. Well, I'd assume all of the usual suspects.
All right, this next game I'm also pretty excited about. From the developers of Max Monster, Olden Cat, comes a new adventure game called Dream Channel Zero. This game tells the tale of a boy named Akira, who one day gets suddenly and inexplicably sucked into a world of mysterious video game. There he meets Numiko, who seemingly a seemingly normal girl in a teal blue hoodie, and the two of them team up to conquer whatever perils the strange virtual world may throw at them, and hopefully find a way out. So what, Sword Arts Online?
I guess so.
Yeah, I'm excited about this because Olden Cat is that kind of like small studio that like would be willing to make stories that's very personal. So the art's really unique.
Yeah, look
Max
at that.
Monster was really good.
Yeah, you really enjoyed Meg's Monster, huh?
Yeah, Max Monster was really good. I definitely recommend that for people who are into a shorter, again, more personal story, some good morals. Okay, I don't know about this one. This is brand new, but I appreciate them doing things different and do it well. Max Monster builds itself as like an RPG, but like it's one of those games where it's not really an RPG.
Not really. I got you.
Not really an RPG, but it's
more
very
of
experimental.
it uses the aesthetic to tell a story.
Yeah. And I appreciate it, like just call it what it is, don't expect like a well-developed RPG, but it's definitely a very well-developed story.
Yeah.
So I expect a really good story from Dream Channel Zero. Now, there is a planned release for winter 2024. So man, I'm gonna be very busy this winter for PC via Steam. So please check that out.
All right. So next up, we've got another deck building RPG called Soulvars that's coming from publisher Shueisha Games. That's coming to PC and consoles worldwide. Soulvars.
Yes, worldwide.
Worldwide.
Yeah, so this one is a what is it called? It's a cell phone game, cell phone RPG. Definitely no gacha, so don't worry. And it's like I think it's like $6 on the Play Store right now. So definitely not like an expensive title either. But I think this is pretty interesting because we've always talked about folks who watch the show but don't necessarily game on PC or console, right? Like they're looking for a game that they can play on their cell phones, but not a gacha game because I don't really like going through gacha games. Well, there you go. I mean, we'll sell it for 610 yen. That's like $5 and some change. So probably not very expensive. This is like a new enhanced version that's coming out on Steam. So pretty cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, as far as like, cell phone games go, I'm not usually interested, but that one looked actually like maybe it might not be bad.
Yeah, deck building RPG.
Yeah. I mean,
yeah, so
deck building kind of bit of a turn off to me, to be totally honest, but I mean, whatever. If if you're strapped for platforms that you can play games on, hey, that is an option. So keep an eye out.
Yeah.
All right, so that's coming out on the 27th of June, coming to PS4, PS5, Xbox One, Series X, S, and Switch and PC via Steam and Epic Game Stores as well. So it's also immediately available on Android and iOS. So if you're not into cell phone gaming but want to maybe take a look at dipping your toes into the game anyway, you can do so if you have one of these platforms. So check that out too.
I think the game looks pretty interesting and it's probably going to be pretty inexpensive too. So hey, you're looking for something. I feel like this is going to be one of those palate cleanser stuff again. Just to get away from all the major releases and just try your hands on something short and sweet, right? Yeah. All right. Next up, developers Christopher Galati and Daniel's Game have announced a new action RPG called Tako no Himitsu, Ocean of Secrets. And it is according to them, a spiritual successor to the game Save Me, Mr. Tako.
Okay. So, I've not heard of that game before, but you want to take a look at the trailer for
Let's do it.
Tako no Himitsu?
Yeah. So when they say taco, they don't mean the food from Mexico.
The Mexico food.
Yeah. They meant taco as in an octopus in Japanese. Yeah.
Tako desu. Yes.
It looks really good.
I like the pixel art.
Yeah.
I think that it looks nice. It looks...
Oh, you can switch characters, it looks like. Like you can tag out and switch. I guess each of them have like a specialty kind
I pre-watched this trailer a little bit.
You did?
Uh-huh. Because I saw the pixel art and I was like, okay, let's check this out. I think that some of the inspirations are pretty clear. Like it's got some, the puzzle switches and stuff. Looks like it came straight out of like a Game Boy Advance RPG. Like, like maybe a Zelda game, right? It kind of looks like that a little bit. At the same time, it also looked like it had some animations, might have been Terranigma inspired, but maybe I'm just especially sensitive to that sort of thing. Like the level up thing where he goes like, yeah, and has the power up thing. It's like, hey, I recognize that. And more games should totally do that.
Yes.
So it has a little bit of that. And I think that the only thing in the back of my mind that's like, is this what I want to play? Is it looks like the combat's a little slow. Like the animations take a while to like play out. It doesn't look really snappy and responsive. Yes. It looks like one of those things where like you push a button and you're committed to that movement, right?
It's a big deal for action games. The snappiness. Oh, yeah. I definitely understand that. Yeah, but man, you know what? Here's the thing, Derek. For the past couple of months, we've shown you some games where the pixel art's just a little bit kind of misses the mark a little bit. They got that. You explained it to me once where you're like, oh yeah, this is why this is like, kind of a not very well done pixel art. And like, here's like a good one, like the animation, like they just kind of,
this one looks like they did
pixel
so well with it.
Yeah. I know it's not even just this game, like the past couple of games.
Oh yeah,
as a matter of fact, or it's all had like really nice pixel art. So I'm like, Derek's eating good tonight. Like he's seen a lot of nice pixel art today.
Yes.
All right. So unfortunately for you, there's no release date as of yet. It is currently being developed for PC via Steam, and a Kickstarter campaign is coming soon. And I will list the link in the description below so you guys can follow their Kickstarter or maybe support them if that looks like a game that you would be interested in.
That's right. Now, I did throw a game into the thumbnail of today's video, and it had to be this one because, of course, we already kind of shown off a little bit of the trailer for this a while back when it was first announced. But at that point, we didn't really have a release date. But now NISA have finally announced a release date for The Legend of Nayuta, The Boundless Trails, and gave us a new trailer for it as well. So this new version of the game, which was previously a PSP exclusive to Japan, this new version of the game will feature enhanced graphics, event scenes, 60 FPS, higher quality audio than the original 2012 release as well. And unlike the other Trails games in the series, this one is an action RPG, a bit more similar to some of the earlier East titles. So let's take a gander at this brand new trailer for The Legend of Nayuta, Boundless Trails.
Yeah, so for folks, like, say what you want about 60 FPS, I feel like it's important because this is an action game. Like, if this is a turn-based RPG, I don't care. Like, 30 FPS is fine. It would do. But because it's an action game, like, especially for people who can pick up between 30 and 60 FPS, it makes a big difference.
I can see it.
Yeah.
I can see it. I can do with less, but I do appreciate it when it exists.
Yeah. Like, I'm totally okay with 30 FPS if it's like a turn-based tactic game. I don't care. Yeah, 30 FPS is fine. Yeah. For action games, for me personally,
it makes
a difference.
Sure.
I appreciate them doing it.
Nayuta with Noi will set off on an adventure. Lost Heaven.
I still don't know how this connects with, like, the Trails games.
I think that not really anybody really truly does know how or if they connect, but they might.
So someone told me, and take it with a grain of salt, someone told me on stream that, oh yeah, it's connected. It's like a connected world, just they never specify how.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, so basically maybe not connected.
So there are some fan theories about how it's connected, but I'm not going to talk about them because they might dig into some spoiler territory and stuff.
No, definitely.
But it might be important, and if they're choosing to localize it, I mean, maybe it will be important. You never know. So, you can expect to see this game coming out on September 19th for North America, September 22nd for Europea.
Europea.
yeah, for Europa.
Europa, yes.
And for Australia and New Zealand, you can see it on the 22nd as well. of September. So that's coming for Nintendo Switch and also PC via Steam.
And PS4.
Oh, was that on there? Yes, you are correct. And PS4. Thank you.
And PS4.
Thank you.
You're welcome, sir. I'm glad I caught that. Man, I am just glad that Nisa and Falcom are bringing all these games over. And previously they were talking about doing this other series through like a Korean publisher, which I'm still waiting for them to tell us more about it. It's like a worldwide release of like another like Legend of Heroes game, but it's like a different series than like the Trails that we know. I just appreciate them.
I also just wanted to throw this out there because people get on Falcom and they get on NISA for like, oh man, there's so many Trails games, we're so far behind. Guys, they're trying 3 games in 1 year. And one of them nobody expected. Two of them within the Crossbow games, it was like a lost cause. Nobody expected that. Nobody expected that, but they're doing it. So gotta give NISA credit where it's due. 3 games in a year. Holy cow!
Yeah,
my wallet is crying.
I hear you. I do have some gripe against the Crossbow games, as I told you before.
The differences between the versions.
Yeah. I mean, look, they say what you want about like the difference in version and how it's not a big deal. Look, 2 things. One, it doesn't have to be a big deal. They just have to be forthcoming, right?
Sure,
They didn't say it when the pre-order opens, and they should have just been out with it and be like, oh, by the way, the versions are different. That's all. Yeah. That's the whole thing, is they should have just been forthcoming. But also, recently, and I've talked about this with some folks, is that I tried to pick up the Crossbow game because I'm like, maybe it's time for me to pick it up. I go over to Amazon, and wouldn't you know it, the PS4 version was still selling at its base price, and the Switch version was selling at $80 a copy by third-party seller. And someone tweeted at me, and it's like, oh, Falcom's being greedy. I'm like, this has nothing to do with Falcom or Nisa. Like, let's just be very clear. They released all these games at the base price, PS4 and the Switch version. It's the scalpers or third-party seller who are selling it at a mock-up. So
it's like being mad at Sony when people were scalping PS5s on eBay. It's like the same thing.
Yeah, don't get mad at them for that. I do wish that just got Nisa. You're losing a lot of money you're putting a lot of money on the table here by not doing a reprint.
I'm sure that they will
a reprint.
I mean, we'll talk about that in a little bit, I think.
Yeah, I don't know if they would, but they should definitely do a reprint.
I wouldn't put it past them. I mean,
they like money.
They like money.
They've done it before. They reprinted for East 8, but it was like months and months later. Like they've already lost a lot of money by waiting. Like they should get on it like now to do a reprint.
Probably not wrong.
Yeah. All right, so let's move on over from. Wow, we've talked about a lot of games today.
I know. It is time to switch to some industry news, right?
Yes, let's talk about some industry news.
We've made it.
All right, we've made it through all the new games. Just congrats. All right, but more game news, just not actual game announcements. So this one is anime news. Isn't that nice?
Hey, that's awesome.
Aniplex just announced that the new anime for the Atelier series, Atelier Ryza, Ever Darkness, and The Secret Hideout, will be airing in Japan starting July 1st. Now, no words currently about simulcast or which service, for that matter, that you would be able to stream this on, but I am pretty certain that we're going to get access to this. I'm pretty certain that we're going to get it. It's just a matter of where or when. I have a feeling it's going to be Crunchyroll because Crunchyroll is sharing news on this. Like, I have a feeling that they're just not announcing it officially yet, but
that could be. That could be. We'll see. That's how they get extra discussions on shows like ours when they're like, oh, what's it going to be? Who's it going to be? Who knows? And then all of a sudden, and then they announce, oh, it is coming to Crunchyroll. Then they get to go into the news cycle again,
Right.
They're double and triple dipping. I've talked about this before. It's such a pain when companies try to piecemeal out these like little announcements and like, no, there. I don't think we're going to talk about it again. I don't think I will.
But it looks really good. I saw the trailer. We're not going to show the trailer for obvious reasons, but I saw the trailer. It looks really good. I'll link the trailer in the description below. But yeah, like Ryza, apparently it's fastly becoming one of like people's favorite Atelier game ever, due to its like, you know, new and more dynamic battle system as opposed to like a pure turn-based one. People just really enjoyed Ryza as an RPG. Yeah. So I can't wait to actually get started on this series. But I've said that about a lot of things. Yeah, so definitely check it out. We'll see what happens.
All right. So next up, got a little bit of a thing here. PlayStation Showcase is going to be broadcasting live on the 24th of May, which is just 3 days away from right now, you know, a couple days away, at 1 p.m. Pacific time. We can expect a wealth of new games and new IPs that are headed toward PS5 and PSVR 2. You can watch the stuff live using the link that we'll have in the description down below. But Baku, anything you're particularly excited or hopeful that we'll see? Besides Legend of Dragoon 2, of course.
You know, Breath of Fire 7, maybe.
Yeah.
You know, as you will.
Of course.
I think Capcom's definitely going to bring it with.
It is about time that they unveiled the new Breath of Fire collection, I think.
Yeah, absolutely. Parasite Eve remake from Square Enix, of course. Yep. Of course. What? Maybe a new Dot Hack game. I don't know.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Anything goes.
Time to roll out the new Dot Hack game. That's right. You know, we've been waiting. It is time. And while we're at it, how about Rogue Galaxy 2? You know?
Oh yeah, definitely that. I mean, definitely
Level 5 has always been, you know, working in tandem with Sony, and they did Dark Cloud 1 and 2 on PS2. Dark Cloud 3 eventually became Rogue Galaxy. So let's see Rogue Galaxy 2. Let's go.
Oh, I got one. A new Suikoden game that's not going to be action. It's going to be turn-based.
Oh, yeah.
Okay,
yeah.
And not a gacha game. Okay,
sure.
Not gacha. No gacha.
Yeah.
Okay. No NFTs.
Let's do it.
Not a what is it? Not a pinball game. Not action. Turn-based with good graphics from Konami.
God, okay, you're really stretching imagination at this point.
Hey, you know what? For the chat, why don't you guys tell us what you want to see? No, I'm not asking for reality. Just tell me what you want to see.
Put up your wish list, guys.
Give me your wildest guess on what we can see in this Sony showcase, and prepare to be very disappointed.
Let's go.
Someone said Grand Blue Fantasy, and you know what? That's
possible.
That could be. Yeah, Grand Blue Fantasy. That had been in the works since what, like
2017. 2016 probably.
They're always just a little bit closer. I mean, they said they're going to release it this year.
Oh yeah.
That is what they said.
Penny Blood and the new
the new
Wild
Penny
Arms
Blood.
one, Armed Fantasia.
Lunar 3. I want to see Lunar 3. Yes. Oh man.
Threaten me with a good time.
Let us know in the comment. We want to see it. All right. Next up, this is a great news for fans of Sonic, and also great news for people who like symphonic music. Sega announced that the Sonic Symphony World Tour 2024 concert series will begin on September 16th at the Barbican Hall in London, UK. And run into 2024. So it's going to start at September in London. And the next stop will be the Dolby Theater in Los Angeles, California, in the States, on September 30th, and they're going to release more tour dates and venue as that information becomes available on their official site, which we will link in the description below. So man, if you're a Sonic fan and you're like a band geek at the same time, which something tells you the Venn diagram between,
I'm guessing it's very close to a circle.
It's close to a sphere. Yeah, dude. So I've been going to the Final Fantasy concert series called Distant World, and I've talked about it before, and absolutely love it. This summer there's a Ghibli Studio concert series that's going to happen. Also, one that's actually near DC, so I'm going to that one. I love these kind of concerts. So if you're like me and you like listening to symphony musics, but also like games that you love, this could be a good one for you if you're a Sonic fan. So yeah, we'll leave the link in the description so you can check out the updates.
Alrighty.
Yes.
So now it's time for us to talk a little bit of merch. We got a couple things here left before we dive into some of the super chats that have been rolling in.
And I saw so many popping out of the corner of my eye.
I know. Yeah. We have to start with some official news about the Tears of the Kingdom strategy guide that is currently available now for pre-order.
Yes.
These official guides will come in a hardcover and collector's editions. I'm sorry, come in.
Oh no, sorry, it's paperback standard.
Paperback standard, okay.
Yes,
and hardcover collector's editions.
Yeah.
As they do. Both editions of the game are currently on sale for up to 40% off at Amazon if you pre-order before the 16th of June, though.
Mm-hmm.
So if that's something that you're wanting, make sure you snatch it up soon.
Yeah, we'll be leaving a link in the description as well. Non-affiliate link. We don't make money off this. Yeah,
I was gonna say
easier.
I put an affiliate link there.
I mean, if you want to do it, go for it. Yeah,
I did.
No, if you want to do it, go for it. I'm not saying you shouldn't do it, but
it's like,
yeah,
shoot, I'll do it. Yeah, let's go. Let's support the show.
Are you gonna buy one anyways? Right? You should have done it earlier because I actually bought one.
Did you?
For my friend. Well, remember I told you I have a friend who, and she's not even watching this right now. So this is a surprise birthday gift for her.
Friend.
It's a surprise birthday gift for her, but she never watches the show, so it doesn't matter because I'm gonna be like, yeah, I totally told the internet that I'm gonna do this, and you totally didn't catch it.
That's hilarious.
That's what you get for not watching HitPoint. But yeah, no, I pre-ordered the collector's edition. It was like $26. Like, I think it's worth it. She likes books and she likes Zelda, so I'm like, sweet, here you go, hardcover guide, boom.
That's awesome.
Yeah. And speaking of Zelda, though, we've got another merch that I find particularly interesting. So Dbrand is selling a plagiarized, their words, Zelda Switch decal called the Clone of the Kingdom. And it's basically daring Nintendo to sue them. I've actually got the Dbrand site on my screen if you want to pop that open real quick.
Oh, yes. I would love to take a look at that.
Oh, yeah. So here you go.
There we go.
Yeah. So here you go. Can you see that?
I can.
This looks almost identical.
It looks beautiful.
It looks amazing. It looks almost identical to the limited edition Zelda Switch, which I also found was really nice. And I think it was Linus. Linus actually got sponsored by Dbrand to check out the Nintendo Switch alongside with this. It was very cheeky, but they point out all the differences and all that. And boy, I'm just curious. Like, is this plagiarism? Is this gone too far? Like, or not far enough? I'm so curious as to what people think about this. But yeah, you can definitely buy this today. Like,
I would buy that with a clear conscience. Conscience.
Yeah.
Yes. A clear conscience. Because I mean, I think I mentioned this in your tweet when you were asking about this. Like, what do you guys think about this? My thoughts are like, yeah, it might be a little like, a little bit shady. A little bit. I mean, or quite shady. But you know what else is shady? Like, the Switch is how many years old? 6 years old at this point? It's 6 years old at this point. How much longer Are they gonna, try to sell people new versions, new special editions of the Switch? Like anybody who's gonna buy this already has a perfectly functional Switch that they used to play Breath of the Wild, right? Like they're just selling more consoles. Like at this point, they're trying to double dip. They should have had a special Zelda edition and version of the Nintendo Switch, like near launch with Breath of the Wild. Like honestly, if at this point it feels a little and
well, see, that's the whole COVID thing. So that's like the only thing that, like, if I have to play devil's advocate, it's like that there's a whole global supply chain issue. So
sure. But that was like,
yeah.
But Breath of the Wild came out years before COVID. We can't even like.
That's true. That's true. Yeah.
So I don't feel bad about Nintendo losing out on a few bucks because people went with the cheaper option instead of buying yet another Nintendo Switch to add to their collection of Nintendo Switches, right? Like if for some reason you are buying your very first Nintendo Switch, sure, go for the real deal. But if you already have a perfectly functional Nintendo Switch and you just think that this one looks cool as heck, go for it. That's how I feel about it. Because I mean, sure, it might be like 20, 30, 40. I don't even know how much these cost, but it's going to be cheaper than buying a whole other Nintendo Switch that's going to end up in a landfill someday.
Yes. Yeah, that's true. I have held the new, like the new official Switch in my hand. It is really nice. I will say that. But this Dbrand skin, according to Linus anyways, the gold actually looks better than the official one. So take that as you will. And these Dbrand skin actually does offer scratch protection against your. They're actually made with like pretty good material. So
you scratch the Dbrand skin, you just replace it. You scratch the official Nintendo Switch, and well, you're stuck with it.
And you can remove these decals relatively easy because I've done that before with something else, and it doesn't damage your controller. So I think it's pretty cool. They had something that did damage the Switch, but they've since like switched like the material and whatnot, and it was like years ago. So they've already figured out like how to like not damage your console. Basically.
I think I remember. Actually, I remember back in the day when these decals and stuff were first coming out, Dbrand was late to the party of providing aftermarket decals for the Switch because they spent extra time finding materials that would not damage Switches. And they put out PSAs about them because a lot of the standard stuff would cause permanent damage. But, AliExpress sellers don't really care or test that sort of thing. So I remember them getting a lot of like good PR as a result of putting out that kind of, heads up.
Yeah. It's like $10 decal. Like, do I care about your Switch? No. Give me my $10.
Yeah.
But yeah, the new system does look and feel good in the hand.
Oh, it's so pretty.
I just don't know if it's worth buying a brand new one. But it's still available on Amazon the last time I looked at it. So there's that. Like, it's not selling out, which may actually points to the market's appetite because the Pro controller sold out in minutes. The Link Amiibo sold out too after like a day or two. Like, these kind of things does tell us a little bit about the market's appetite.
Yeah.
The whole system, like, you would think that this thing would sell out, right? But it really hasn't. Last time I checked on Amazon, they're still selling it. Base price, not even a third-party seller. Something that I did want to bring up and I forgot about it. So we talked about this last time, but there are these limited edition face plates for Final Fantasy 16 that's only available in Japan. The face plate sold out really fast. I couldn't find it anywhere. But the controllers, for whatever reason, maybe because people don't want to buy an extra controller because they already have all the controllers that they ever want.
Because they already had to buy two in order to get the console from Target or whatever.
Right. That actually is still being the pre-order is still up, as in they still have like a certain amount of like
stock left,
quota. for the pre-order. Yeah. So you can still get it if that's something that you're interested in. Just reach out if anyone's interested in trying to get one and don't know how like proxy orders work. I can kind of walk you guys through how that works.
So getting back to the Dbrand skin, I think that there was, if I'm reading this right, was there another part of this decal that we didn't really talk about yet?
Oh, you mean the center where they have these like scripts? There are hidden messages in the middle. I forgot what it said though. Do you have it up in front of you?
I just see the URL of our source here. So here, let me see if I can pull this up here.
Yes.
According to our source at videogameschronicle.com.
Shout out to VGC. They're a great source. Yeah.
Let's see. The code around the logo says, "This funds our legal defense." Oh, and also, go yourself, lawyers.
That is so cheeky. I love it. They had something similar to that with their Dark Plates. So do you remember the whole Dark Plate saga?
No.
So this is prior to Sony releasing their own like replaceable plates, and Dbrand's like, oh yeah, no, like seeing how easy it is to pop it off, like we could just have this mold and just create different colored plates. But the plate design was too similar to Sony's base plate. So Sony sued Dbrand. That's what all this started.
Oh.
And then Dbrand took it down and they re-engineered it to be even better with breathing hole and all that. And like, you know, instead of like a pop collar, it's kind of like a curved edge, called Dark Plate 2.0. And they still sell that. And there are these like hidden messages inside the plate that like, you know, that you can decode or whatever. And it tells this like whole story about how they like really mess with Sony and like fought their lawyers and, you know, tell them to, you know.
Yeah. To go pleasure themselves.
There you go. Thank you. That's the word I was looking for.
Indeed.
So I feel like this is just kind of a follow-up to that, like, you know, daring lawyers to come after them situation. Very interesting.
Jeez.
Yeah.
Well, I think that probably about wraps up our merch talk today, right?
Yes, that's all the topics that we've had for today. Thank you for good boys and girls and listening through our TED Talk.
All right. Well, let's go ahead and start off then, or end the show off with talking or responding to some of the super chats and such that we've received throughout the show.
Yeah, let's do it.
Thank you all so much. Starting with just this one little super chat from Shenzhen, aka Sean. Good to see you, man. Who just dropped a tenner and no real message to talk about.
Hey.
So very much appreciated, dude.
Thank you.
Good to see you again. And bring back Fluffy Dogs started off with a membership to the channel as well for 10 months of support. Says
10 months.
10 months. Says, I really enjoyed your localization interview, by the way. It may have been long, but it was a very interesting conversation and insightful for the industry. Thank you.
Yeah. I thought it was really good. Yeah.
I'm surprised at how well it came out. I mean, first of all, it's the first time I have ever interviewed anybody ever. And I think I did okay. Surprisingly okay. Surprisingly okay. 10 out of 10 would recommend. Surprisingly okay. But Leona was also just such a fun person to talk to. So I just had fun. I was having a blast. So I'm glad that you enjoyed that there, bringing back Fluffy Dogs. Now, got a question for you though, Baku. They say, Baku, do you play games in Japanese at all? Is Oath in Felgana doesn't have English, but if you do, I'll see that it makes its way to you though.
I had played games in Japanese in the past. I can still play games in Japanese. I've done it. I typically don't do that nowadays because I stream and it's really hard to explain what's going on and do real-time translation as the game is going and reading dialogues. It's just kind of a pain. So I haven't really done that anymore. But back in the days when, JRPGs, there were a lot of gems that never got translated, right? Like Summon Night was I think Summon Night was one where like it didn't really get translated.
Yeah, a lot
but
of
it was
them
a really good series. That there are a lot of those, right? It's only like the really big ones that for the most part got translated. It got better towards like PS2 and PS3, and then PS4 finally basically you can expect like 95% of them being translated. But back in the PS1 era, it's like anyone's guess. So I don't wait until like an international release. I just buy the import and I play ahead of everybody. So there you go. That answers your question. But I mean, will I play? Sure, dude. If you send me a game, I'll play it. Yeah. But also just with the expectation that it's going to be really rough to live translate it.
Yeah. That's tough.
Yeah, streaming a game is very rough. They asked Derek, but add live translation on top of that because people are like, "Oh, what are they saying? What's happening with the story?" It's like, okay. Let me
so
translate
this guy
real quick.
says that they're really mad. This guy says that
it's hard, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Flippy Dogs also followed up with says, "Good news, not followed by something Capcom something." Oh wait. Good news not followed up by something Capcom something Breath of Fire 1 through 4 HD remastered collection something. I'll just wait for your NDAs up. Yep. I mean, I gotta keep that NDA, fully, because who knows if there is or is not an NDA that I can or cannot talk about. But whatever that does or does not expire, I'll be sure to or not to talk about whatever it is that I'm not supposed to talk about. They also say, is it possible that One Piece looks prettier than Dragon Quest XI? Feel free to discuss. I mean, Dragon Quest XI, that was a very pretty RPG. I mean, gosh, I think though that One Piece might of that style. One Piece might pull it off slightly better. But it's really a close call. But I think that the variety of character types must have been really tough to pull off in the One Piece Odyssey game.
Yeah. I mean, from what I've seen, I do prefer the One Piece Odyssey game. But only because I feel like a lot of the DQ art and style is just kind of dated at this point, and no matter how much they try to recreate the character, like someone's gonna not be happy about it. It's either people think it's dated, or if you did change it, the hardcore fans would be really upset because now you're moving away from like one of the defining factors that makes it a DQ game. So I feel like you can't please everyone. One Piece has definitely more like leeway in that respect, right? I think that they can even kind of lean into the plasticky look of that because of some of the characters have like rubber arms and stuff. So it's like it kind of works in a weird roundabout way. Fluffy Dogs also says here, you had the mat tied up, but as soon as you mentioned the creepy girls, Baku, they're out. As far as that one game, the plays in VR where the protagonist is tied to a chair and can't do anything, but then the little girl has to solve the puzzles. I can't remember which game was that called again. Oh my god, the alliteration title, is that it? Here we go. Last Labyrinth. Lucidity Lost.
Okay.
Yeah. God. Okay, so about that game, right? I mean, you have like creepy girl characters in horror games, but you know what? This one, she's not creepy. She's trying to help you.
Yeah,
right?
This one wasn't that creepy. Yeah. It's and I think that if it was a creepy girl who would like constantly get murdered if you messed up, like I wouldn't feel so bad about it. Like I'd probably mess up on purpose to have a little creepy girl like get,
Wow.
But this one looks like sweet, and like she's just trying to be helpful or something.
Yeah.
And,
well, she's putting her life on the line to get us out.
Exactly.
So, yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. So that's why you don't want to lose, right?
Yeah, don't
So-
call her creepy. Otherwise, she's just gonna let you die.
Yeah, yeah. So they also ask, is there any news about Final Fantasy VII Remake we all actually wanted? Final Fantasy VII Ever Crisis. Can we
Ever Crisis, is
Yeah.
that
Can we
the,
please get this complete on consoles? That would be nice. Ever Crisis was the
Oh, yeah,
like
yeah,
the
yeah, 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 yeah.
1-to-1 kind of remake that was like that's the one I
Mm,
actually also was most interested in. But yeah, it's
mm.
kind of gone a little quiet, and that's kind of the nature with a lot of these games is
Mhm. Well, it's gone quiet because the closed beta is slated to start this summer. So that's the latest that we've gotten. Now, of course, it being it's got loot boxes, so I don't want to really talk about it too
Mhm.
much until such time where they say, "Hey, this
Yeah.
game is available for purchase on console," perhaps, then I would feel better about talking about it. But just as soon as they said loot boxes, I said
know.
no to
Yeah.
it. But if you must know, the closed beta is starting in summer 2023. So there's that.
Yeah. They also say, did either of you play Hero Must Die Again? I've heard that is quite a good game. Just
Yes.
pinging my trusty sources. And I've never played that one, actually.
Mhm. Hero Must Die. Is that Hero? Hero?
Oh, it's Hero Must Die Again. I think it's a follow-up to Hero Must Die.
Let me take a look. Oh, okay. I know which game this is. I had to take a look to know which game we're talking about. Yeah, I've heard it's pretty good, but I have not, unfortunately, played the game myself.
Yeah.
Must
Nah,
Die Again.
that's
Yeah.
right. They recently got a PS3, not the
Mhm.
fully backwards compatible version, but what are some
Mhm.
games that you would recommend that they get? JRPG?
PS3?
Yep, JRPGs, console exclusives, or just great versions of the game. So,
PS3. Okay, now go ahead.
PlayStation 3 had the release of what's the music one? Um,
Music one.
yeah, where you
Res.
so it started off on Xbox 360, and then Eternal Sonata. Eternal
Oh, there
Sonata,
you go.
I
Mhm.
think is one that I would say is probably worth grabbing on PS3 because I don't think that it's coming out. Or did they do a release of that? A re-release? It's hard to tell. There's so many games that get re-releases. Let me see.
Well, while you look at that, I'd say Tales of Graces F. That's it, hands down, definitely must get for PS3, and I think that is the latest console you didn't get it in. One of my favorite Tales game, Tales of Graces F. So basically, Tales of Graces is already good, but then the F part basically adds like an extended story afterwards, and it's not even like a short extended story. It's quite long. It's like a quarter of the game long.
Yeah.
That gives it like an after story of what happened to the characters after, and then there's this new foe that you have to go up against. Of course, I won't spoil for anybody, but it's good.
Yeah.
And I'm looking at it right now on Amazon, and all over the place. It's like what, $20 you can get one used on Amazon. That's a really good price for a really good game. Granted, it's a little dated at this point, but I mean, you bought a PS3 knowing that you're gonna play games that aren't necessarily like the greatest and the
Or-
baddest. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
I would
But it's a
also
really good game.
I would also mention 3D Dot Game Heroes.
Mhm.
I've heard really good things about it. I haven't yet played it myself because, of course, it's in my backlog. But it is also a PS3 exclusive. So, and it's kind of that 3D style Zelda type of game where your like sword takes up eventually the whole half the screen. It's pretty nuts. But yeah, I've heard a lot of people have had a lot of fun with that one. So that's a few.
Man,
I think that I would
yeah.
recommend.
Resonance of Fate. I think that's a pretty good one.
Mm.
Resonance of Fate. I think that's a PS3 exclusive.
But the
Well, not
PS3,
exclusive.
the PS3 was like an interesting era for JRPGs where things kind of got a little rough,
Yeah.
you know. But yeah, let's see. There's some more here that we got to get through. Which Trails game were you trying to get, Baku, and on which system was it?
Trails game. Oh,
Yeah, when you were
I
talking
was
about
trying to get.
one
I
of
was
the crossbow
trying to
games.
get the crossbow games for Switch, and okay. So here's the story, right? So I was trying to get it on Amazon, and then it turns out they're like 90, like 80 at the time of me looking at it, it was like $80.
Yeah.
And I was like, I'm not paying $80 for a game like that I can wait to play later. Like the key thing is like I'm not dying to play new game. My backlog is so long that
Yeah.
I don't care. So I'll wait. Like it's
And-
fine. Yeah.
And the PC versions are easily accessible and
yeah.
perfectly playable. Like, I mean, honestly, they're every bit as good as the Switch versions. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Like it's just me being stubborn, wanting a physical copy, honestly. But I can wait for the reprint. I'm pretty sure they'll do a reprint. So the long story short is I went to Play Asia. I found the European version, and they're like functionally identical. There's no DLC, so I don't care, right? If there's a DLC, then I need like make an account and do all this stuff, and I don't want to do it. But like, there's no DLC to the game, so it doesn't matter. They play just as well as the North American version, except they were regular base price. So I ordered that, and then Play Asia is like, yeah, sorry, we couldn't source Zero, but we have Azure. And I was like, yeah, no, I want both of them together or none at all. So I just said no to that.
You got to be able to import your game saves from one to the other. That's for sure.
Yeah. I'll wait until they do a reprint. It's not a big deal, but thank you for asking.
Another question here. This one comes from Module Cell, who says, what is your take on the efficacy of gamers to mod and or use cheats on single player games on PC? Is the thrill of conquering Elden Ring worth the time? As an adult gamer with little time, I have no problem using cheats. So that's from Module Cell. So personally, I think it really depends on the kind of game. Games like Elden Ring, like I don't think there's any problem with it, but I feel like a lot of the fun of the game is in mastery of the system and improvement of like yourself and your skills, right? Being able to beat the game is fun, and I think that in some cases, like if that's just what you want to do is to experience the game a little bit, I think that by turning on certain cheats, that would probably diminish it somewhat. Like if you just went through with like God mode, and like no one could hit you, it'd be kind of like, yeah, you've done it, but have you really done it? Like, so for that kind of game, I would say personally, probably not so much. For games that are a bit more about like and I don't want to diminish the story of Elden Ring because I haven't played it. I don't know. But when I think of like story driven games where the draw of the game is to play through and experience the story as opposed to the gameplay focus, then I would say, yeah, just, throw it on easy mode if that's an option, which is kind of like a cheat in and of itself, and just enjoy the story. Right. So that's kind of my initial thoughts on that. But what do you think, Baku?
So I have two thoughts. One is basically what you said about easy mode. Like, look, a lot of games nowadays, like I think developers get it. Like the population of gamers is aging, right? We're like Derek and I, we're like 90s kids, right? Like we grew up with the Super Nintendo and the PlayStation 1. Like we're among the earlier generation of gamers if you exclude like Pong or something. But like the really like the golden age of like gaming. Like I played the regular Nintendo when it was still new, right? Like the new games coming out.
Back when it was just called the Nintendo.
Yeah. Well, I played a Family Con.
Yeah.
Anyways. Yeah. But but now like Derek and I we're closing in 40, right? We don't really have a whole lot of time. We have well, not we, but like people
attacked.
our age, we have kids, maybe even grandkids, and work and all that. So I think developers get it.
You're stressing me out, man.
Like here's the easy mode. If you just want to go through the story and treat this like this is a movie with like some interaction, very minimal gameplay. You're not going to get the challenge, but you'll get the story. And I respect that, right? This is not like an easy way out. I don't look at it that way. Life's hard enough. And if you really just don't have time, you just don't have time. So no shame in going that route. My other thought on cheats is that because I've used cheat device before, like on like PlayStation 2 games and stuff, only single player games, by the way.
Oh yeah.
And I feel like discovering cheats, changing codes, learning how the hex works, like the hex code, like all that, that could be interesting in and of itself from kind of like an engineering perspective. So if that's something that you're interested in doing, which I have done, that's kind of cool. Like changing a digit here and there, what does that do for the game? And you kind of test it out and make the code work for you. That could be fun in and of itself. And it's not unlike speed running a game where you're definitely not playing the game in a conventional sense, but nonetheless you are finding a different kind of joy that the author didn't intend, right? So, or the developers didn't intend at least. So if as long as you are not fooling yourself into thinking, yeah, I totally conquered this game, you didn't. But if you see it as, hey, this is a different way that I'm having fun with this game, yeah, sure.
Yeah.
It's your own game. You pay the money. You do whatever you want. Again, single player experience only.
Yeah.
Once you go into multiplayers and competitive play, then no, that's actually straight
That's
up
where you
cheating,
draw the
and
line,
that's where I draw the line.
Yeah. When the experience starts to ruin it for other people. But I think they were pretty clear. They were talking about single player RPGs.
No, absolutely, yeah.
So Flippy Dogs also had a follow-up for that one. It says, people call cheats nowadays is what us boomers call the power of Game Genie. It's
Game
all
Shark,
about having fun.
Game Sharks.
That's right. That's right.
I am this old. I remember Game Sharks. Yeah.
Fluffy Dogs also mentioned, they said, full disclosure, I got the new Zelda OLED and gave my other Switch to a friend. Double dip achievement unlocked. I got it for the OLED, to be honest. See, I would have that probably would have been a good option or a good reason for me to get an OLED Switch also, except it just legitimately never leaves the dock.
That's what I said. I was like, I could sell one of my. I have 2 Switches. I was like, I can sell one and then buy the Zelda one. It would be worth it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, except it never leaves the dock.
I know.
So what
if I want
does it make?
If I want an OLED Switch, I need to upgrade my TV.
Yeah.
So, Brian
does it even
Evans
output anything better?
No. It is
right? It's still 720.
There is also one other revision. If you have a launch version of the Switch, it also has this slightly different like battery consumption due to a different chip that they replaced it. So like between the OLED, there was one other revision that did something with the battery and maybe improved a little bit. So if you have the launch version, there's also that other fringe benefit that they didn't even bother to advertise. But yeah. I don't think it's gonna really move the needle for me very much.
Yeah, it is a nice system.
Brian Evanson asked, "Where's all the Dragon Quest news?"
Dragon Quest news. What Dragon Quest news do we have? You talking about Dragon Quest? 9? No, 9, 10, 10. Is it DQ10? DQ10. Talking about DQ10 news?
I don't know. Or maybe 12.
Or 3 with the HD2D.
Yeah,
I mean, there hasn't been anything.
We've been waiting.
So DQ10, I haven't heard anything since the last time we talked about it being localized or exported out to the rest of the world.
Yeah.
They did talk about having like a regular 1-player campaign that is like a separate thing. So basically, DQ10 is a MMO. But they released I think they released a version, right? The offline version, where you just play it like it's a single player game, which is kind of cool. But I have not heard about any Western releases, so that's why we're not really covering it because we don't talk about stuff that we can't really get. So there's that. HD2D DQ3, I have not heard anything other than initial announcement. Hopefully we'll hear something. Although I feel like it's just going to be a Switch game, so there's that. And DQ12, there was like a little speckle of DQ12 talk
I think
some time
at
ago.
one point they updated the logo, I think.
Yeah, that was about it. So basically, not a whole lot of things to talk about there until they do like a trailer and stuff.
Yeah.
Maybe they'll talk about it during the Sony thing. Who knows? Like that's a real thing that
That's
you
a
could
real
really talk about.
possibility.
Yeah, that's a real possibility. Unlike the
which ties in to, by the way, a follow-up that we got here from Kansaad, who says, hey guys, what are your predictions for the PlayStation show?
We told you.
Yeah,
we told you what it was.
We did talk about him a little bit.
Breath of Fire 7.
But yeah, Breath of Fire 7, new Dragon Quest announcements.
New Dot Hack.
The new Suikoden, Dark Cloud
new
3.
Suikoden, yeah.
Dark Cloud, or I'm sorry, Rogue Galaxy 2,
Tactics Ogre 2.
Oh,
like
course,
new Tactics Ogre, yeah. No, but for real, if I wouldn't be surprised if they talk about a new DQ, honestly, because they had the logo, so they might have something to talk about. That's a very real game. Grand Blue Fantasy, that's a very real game that they may actually talk about because it is planned to be released this year and on PlayStation. So, but those are things that we can realistically expect based on what we know. But it's like Final Fantasy VII remake, right? It's like that where like it just came out of nowhere and just surprises everyone. So I'm hoping for those. I'm hoping for things that I couldn't have reasonably expected. Like a genuine pleasant surprise would be nice.
Yeah. And here's another follow-up from Brian, who says that they were when they were asking about like the Dragon Quest news, it was more of like a rhetorical question about, where's Squaresoft doing with all, come on, Squaresoft, where are you at? And
understood.
Yeah, it's a good question because they have been pretty tight-lipped, and I guess this would be one of those events where they should be breaking their silence here, hopefully pretty soon.
Yeah. But
I'm going to just say my expectations currently are pretty low. I'm just gonna say it. Low expectations, hype responsibly. I'll go in. I'll expect nothing, and if I am pleasantly surprised, then I can't wait to talk about it here. But but that's the thing. Like every time I've ever gotten my hopes up, God, every time that I've ever been blown away from like a Sony thing, it's been when I least expected it. Remember E3 several years ago when they announced the Shenmue remake, the Shenmue 3?
Yeah.
And then Final Fantasy VII remake was announced that same day. My God.
Oh man, yeah. That's the kind of like rush that I want back. So I want them to be tight-lipped because that's what builds that suspense when
exactly.
So we'll see.
So this could be when it happens, but right now they're also really focused on Final Fantasy.
That's true. Well, it's a different team that does DQ though. So
I know, but I mean, as far as like what they're pumping up
that's
the hype for, right? That's
true.
Yeah, they're building up steam for the hype train for Final Fantasy at the moment. So I don't know. Maybe we'll just expect to see an extended look at Final Fantasy 16. A new trailer for a new expansion for Final Fantasy 14.
I will be slightly angry if they announce that the plates and controller are going worldwide from the Sony experience. I would be slightly angry, but also happy for everyone else. But slightly angry about me having pre-ordered the controllers. Otherwise, but it does look really nice. So I do hope that they release it worldwide, despite the fact that I'm paying extra to get them imported.
Also, for the record, Bring Back Fluffy Dogs also said exactly what I said, but minutes before I said it. They said Square seems to be focusing on marketing Final Fantasy 16 rather than anything else right now. So, yep. Totally.
Okay, look, the thing is this, right? Final Fantasy, not Final Fantasy. Square Enix is a large publisher, as in like there are other publisher, but they're particularly huge.
Yeah.
And with different internal teams that deals with different projects. So if they do talk about DQ, I wouldn't be surprised, but it wouldn't be like the focal point. Like the focal
No.
point is going to be the
I
FF16
think-
for sure.
I think
Yeah.
that, you know, some news about Dragon Quest 3 HD remaster and Dragon Quest 12, that's going to be held back. You know what? Here's my real prediction.
Mhm.
Okay. Here's Dragon Quest 3. They're going to show that off probably here with the Sony thing, maybe a follow-up as a maybe it'll be revealed at a as a Nintendo Switch thing too. But I think that Dragon Quest 12 they'll probably save it for like a sort of Nintendo Direct, kind of like a one more thing at the end of the show.
Oh yeah.
It does feel like the sort of thing, like the clincher, right? That they could use to seal the deal on one of these events.
More details later.
Yeah. And maybe like a teaser, you know, because we got the title drop teaser. Showed us next to nothing when they announced it, right?
Yeah.
Maybe this is when they'll finally like show us something, and then obviously no details about like a release date or window or anything like that.
Yeah.
But just like, you know,
First look.
yeah, a very first like thing that's just sort of like shows you this is the key art, you know. You know, here's the opening cinematic that doesn't have all the visual effects applied to it. That's
Right.
gonna have in 2-3 more years.
See you in 5 years.
Yeah. Okay. Fine. Dragon Quest
If
moves
it
a
is
little bit faster than
DQ,
Final Fantasy.
Oh, yeah, that's true, but everything is faster than Final Fantasy.
That's true.
The only game that's longer than Final Fantasy is Half-Life.
I was gonna say Kingdom Hearts.
Skyrim.
Kingdom
What's
Hearts.
this? Oh no, it's not Skyrim. Sorry. What's the game series from Skyrim? Skyrim's only one game.
Oh, you're talking about the Elder Scrolls.
Elder Scrolls. Yeah, like a new Elder Scrolls game might take a little longer.
Yeah, because we have been playing the same one for over 10 years now at this point.
Didn't they joke that they put Skyrim on like a Samsung like fridge? Like,
Yeah.
you know, they
Yeah.
put Skyrim everywhere.
It's such a solid meme. 10 out of 10.
Yeah, I love these running jokes, man. All right.
Well,
Thank you so much for all the super chat, man. Those are really fun.
Yeah, thank you all so much. Very much appreciated. Enjoyed hanging out with all of you. And if you enjoyed today's episode, please be sure to give it a thumbs up or a like on whatever platform you are enjoying it on, whether that be through here on YouTube or through one of the various podcasting platforms that we broadcast on as well. Broadcast, is that a thing? I don't think that's that we podcast on. Yes, we podcast on. Whether that be through Apple or Spotify or wherever, it really does help. But until next week, I think this is where we do have to leave you all. So I hope you all have a good rest of your evening. Baku, any final thoughts that you would like to leave with the people?
Please hype responsibly for the Sony show, and we'll see what happens.
Yeah.
Until next time.
See you on the other side.